All right. So if you're an entrepreneur in India and you've got those big, ambitious dreams of scaling up, you've probably hit a point where you're wondering, what's the next major step? Well, today we're diving deep into exactly that, transforming your business into a public limited company. This is how you really build an enterprise that's made to last.
So, you've got a fantastic idea, right? You've built a solid foundation, and now you're asking yourself, okay, what's next? If the answer involves huge expansion, attracting some serious investment, and really building a legacy, then you are absolutely in the right place.
So, before we get into all the nitty-gritty paperwork and the process, we have to get the basics down. I mean, what is a public limited company anyway? And why is this the go-to structure for so many of India's biggest success stories?
Okay, so at its heart, a public limited company or a PLC is a business structure that can sell its shares to pretty much anybody. Think of it like this. You're inviting the general public, from huge investment firms all the way down to individual traders, to own a tiny piece of your company. And that right there is the key to raising some serious capital for growth.
But how is this different from a private limited company? Well, the distinction is actually crucial. A private company is kind of like a closed club. It's capped at 200 members, and the shares are all held privately. A PLC, on the other hand, just throws the doors wide open. You need at least 7 members to start, but there's no upper limit, and its shares can be bought and sold freely on the open market, like a stock exchange. Now, I know what you're thinking. This all sounds a little more complicated, right? So that really begs the question, why bother? Well, for a company with serious ambitions, the answer lies in a few game-changing advantages that make all that extra effort totally worth it. There are 2 massive advantages that really stand out here. First, access to capital. I mean, going public opens up a gigantic new pool of funding. But, and this is just as important, you get limited liability. This means the personal assets of the owners and the shareholders are legally separate from the business. It's this powerful combination of fuel for growth and a safety net for everyone involved. Okay, so let's say you're sold on the vision. Now, how do you actually make it happen? Let's get into the practical side of things and break down how this whole process works step by step. The journey might look a little intimidating, but it's a pretty well-defined path. It all kicks off with getting the digital credentials for your directors. That's the DSC and DIN. Then, you've got to lock in your unique company name. Step 3 is super important. This is where you draft your company's constitution, the MOA and AOA. And trust me, you want professional help for that. After that, everything gets bundled into the Spice Plus form, which is this big master online application. Once that's approved, boom, you get your company's birth certificate. And finally, you set up your financial identity with a PAN, a TAN, and a corporate bank account. And now for the 2 questions that every single business owner needs an answer to. How much is this going to cost, and how long is it going to take? Let's break down the real-world investment of time and money you'll need. Believe it or not, if you've got all your paperwork in order and there are no unexpected bumps in the road, you can expect the entire registration process to be done in about 15 to 25 days. Honestly, that's a pretty quick turnaround for creating a major corporate entity from scratch.
And what about the cost? Well, in terms of your budget, you're probably looking at a total somewhere between 25,000 rupees and 50,000 rupees. Now, of course, this is an estimate. It can change based on things like which state you're in, your company's share capital, and the fees of the professionals you hire to help you out. So where does that money actually go? Well, it's a mix of some smaller, fixed costs, like the digital signature certificate and the director ID, and then some more variable expenses. The biggest chunks are usually the professional fees for getting your core documents drafted and the government filing fees, which are tied to your share capital. This breakdown gives you a really clear look at the total investment. So, let's wrap this up. What's the real takeaway here? Registering a public limited company, it's not just a legal checkbox, it's a massive strategic decision. It's the key that unlocks public capital, helps you attract top-tier talent, and really sets the stage for national or even global scale. The process is clear, the costs are pretty manageable, so the only real question left for you is about the size of your ambition. Is your idea big enough for the stage?